Okay, here we go. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another tabletop situation. This is going to be using some of the new camera setup situations that we have. Obviously, this isn't going to be the same setup as it would be for Legion, just purely off of the scale of what we're doing here. And I'll change scenes here in just a second. I figured I'd open up with this just because you don't need to see me teeny tiny while we're just standing there talking. So this is using kind of an on-table view for the field, but we do still have a dice cam, which you'll see in a second. I'm going to try to go through these scenarios in this book. Now, there is a literal step-by-step of like this unit does this, so you could kind of like, I guess, go through the motions. I'm going to try not to do that because I don't think that would be very interesting. So I've just done some reading and some looking into how different things work, and we're just going to try to play through the scenario, and I'm just going to play both sides. I will say I'm going to be playing the orcs. But I'm going to try to play both sides as one would respond to an actual situation. Which I think, looking at the values of these people, I don't really have any shot at controlling any objectives, because with the default setup, because I'm not playing any of these characters in units, they don't have any conquer value, which means that I cannot actually really control objectives. I've got just my group unit that can kind of fight over an objective, so my best bet is probably just going to be to try to kill everybody. So I guess we'll see how that goes. With that being said, I haven't played any of this. I have literally just painted up the stuff, and that has been it. So I don't really know how this is going to go, but okay. So this is the view we're going to do this in typically for like something small like this. This is a 2 foot by 2 foot. So this might change depending on the size of the thing that we're doing, but I'll take that as we see them. But this way you can kind of get a better idea of what's going on. I don't think I'm going to play this first scenario with any cover or anything, because that's not how it was meant to play. Just as fences, this terrain element does not block line of sight. Units can jump over them. I do think you would add an extra dice of some sort for cover, but something I don't like, and it's kind of confusing on the website. So this is WARCROW by Corvus Belli. It says that it comes with the rulebook, and a lot of the unboxings and stuff are showing like a big, thick rulebook. This does not come with that, and this I don't think even has all of the rules, because they're talking about there's a section that's talking about cover and all the different types of cover and the benefits that you get from them. This doesn't have any of that, so I don't really know. This seems incredibly limited, which is kind of unfortunate, but I have heard some decent things about it, so we're going to try to figure this out. So some other precursor stuff. I have played Star Wars Legion, and I have played Elder Scrolls Call to Arms. Those are really the only two tabletop games that I've really looked into. I do have the bolt action stuff. I do have some Age of Sigmar stuff. I just have not got around to playing them, and I do not have a local store that I can go to play them. So I'm kind of up to my own devices in that department, which is why we're doing this today. And I'm just going to play both sides of this because I want to use these models specifically. Sorry, my throat has also been really, really bugging me. So I've got some coffee here, and there might be a little bit of coughing because, I don't know, I think I did something to my throat with something that I was doing, some chemicals. Something that I had not experienced in previous uses with isopropyl alcohol, and then got me this time. So it's interesting. But anyways, I have this set up kind of how it shows in the original, like, step by step. So I'm not doing the deploy stuff. I am going to roll to see who has initiative, and basically whoever gets initiative, I'm going to just have the other person go first, because if I got initiative, I would want them to move first so I could, start that. So I'm just going to roll an orange and a yellow, which I think is the initiative roll, and see who's who. So I got nothing, and they got 1. So they win, which means I'm going to go first because they have initiative. So I'm just going to put this over here. Let me actually shut this door here so the dog's not going off doing crazy stuff. Sorry, Silka. And I was smart today and wore a dark shirt, so you can see my glorious dancer's figure. I'm stepping on my foot, dude. Okay. I've also set up the round counter, which again is still a little confusing to me. So this scenario is a voice in the storm, which is, let's see, the event marker. It's not going to tell me specifically, or is that on this page? Okay. Event 1, snowstorm. A furious wind whips through the farm and snowfall is steadily getting worse. The decrepit structures threaten to be carried off by the gales. The storm screams, howls if they truly had a voice of their own. It's evident this is not a mere meteorological phenomenon. The air is filled with the scent of magic, and cloud of vermilion creeps over the farm. Blazing eyes seem to dwell in swirls of snow. All units must pass a willpower test. If they don't succeed, they receive a slowed state, so they're going to get kind of bogged down. The players alternate in their willpower rolls until all units have taken theirs. The player with the initiative chooses who starts. Once the event is resolved, advance 2 positions in the turn tracker. So I think that is the only end of scenario. Okay. It's kind of hard to tell. So there's these little tiny symbols that correspond to different things on here. So we'll get to that when we get to the end of this scenario. So it looks like we only have to deal with the snowstorm. So that'll be at the end of place the event marker on position 1 of the turn tracker. Broken. Not going to mess with that just yet. Each round. So I guess at the end of turn is when we have the event. I'm a little confused. That's what we're going to go with. So we're going to run the turn, and then at the end of the turn, we'll run the snowstorm. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what we're going to do. I'm also going to go with Legion logic of putting these tokens on the field to illustrate who is gone versus putting them on their cards, which I have all their cards over here by me, just because visually that makes more sense to me. So that's what I'm going to do. So the hegemony won the roll. So they have initiative, which I'm just going to make me go first because that makes sense. Which means I'm probably going to get up in the mix and messed up pretty quick. So again, given that I don't have, there's only 3 rounds, which means I'm only going to get to go 6 times. They don't have much conquer value at all, so I can't really fight these people. Well, I can, I guess, if I could take out the bucklermen, which are the shield guys here. But I don't know. I guess I'll show you these cards. So these are the cards that we're working with. So I think move, and in parentheses is charge. W is the wounds. That's the dice they roll for willpower. Morale, I think, has something to do with stress. And that's the amount of people in a unit, which is kind of confusing to me because every time I've seen people use these, it's a group of 4, but this says 3. So I don't know if that's 3 plus the 1 for the card. I don't know. And then you have varying attacks and defenses based on how many people are still left in the unit. And again, I'm not using any of the elites for this. This is just the generic people. It does come with cards for, like, instead of the Wrathmane, there's Albork, who has the elite, and he has some other benefits and stuff. His attacks are a little bit more guaranteed, I guess. I don't really know. So, anyways, I don't actually know if I said... No, the colors are correct. Okay, so I'm going to go first. I think Wisemane, I think, is going to be one of my better assaulting units, or maybe Wrathmane. So I think I want to go ahead and get Wrathmane close enough to hopefully charge, because he's got a 10 stride charge. This uses these little movement tools, and each movement is made up of 2 numbers essentially on this, so you just kind of rotate the card around as you're moving around. So he has a 3-2 move, and this is just base to base, so that's 1 move. Activations in this, I believe, are made up of 2 simple actions, which I'm not gonna lie, are fairly confusing to me visually, because it kind of just seems like it's either you double move, you move in ranged attack, or you move and you cast a spell. I don't know if there's any other short actions, because there's a list on the back of the book here that shows all the actions. That's kind of all I'm getting out of that, so I'm not real sure. Or there's long actions, which are charge, which is 1 straight line, or assault, which is kind of like a charge around a corner, but you don't get the benefit of a charge. So let's see, this guy's range is 8, and this is the other range tool that they give you for stuff like that. I think I should be able to move. And we're just gonna get across the field. So this guy has gone, and I finished him right behind that tree, which is kind of inconvenient for everybody involved. Whatever. Now, actually, each round lasts for 2 turns. I'm not gonna lie, this turn tracker is really confusing me, because game round, start of round, check how many A activates their units, end of the round. How do I know? Each round lasts for 2 turns. So is it at the end of the first turn, or am I in? Place the event 1 marker on the turn tracker. The end of turn tracker, event 1. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I'm very, very stumped on what the hell I'm looking at. I'm not gonna lie. When you find one of them after this symbol, you must go to the narrative section. Pretty sure there was a little section in here that talk specifically about the round counter. Because the way that I'm interpreting this is that at the end of the turn, we would go through the thing. So I guess we have one group of people that get to just make a free move, and then everybody else gets to roll to see if they're slowed. That's what we're going to go with. I don't know if that's correct. That's what we're doing. Okay. Hegemony people. I think the war surgeon wouldn't want to move up yet. The hetman probably wants to wait till he has more stuff to shoot, and if they do get slowed, I think they want to get close early. So we're going to move the bucklermen, which have a 3/3 move. Can you stop sniffing so aggressively, dog? Hey. Now, I could move and just go ahead and engage here. But I think to draw me closer, I'm not going to do a second move. I'm just going to leave them here. And either they're going to charge into me or I'm going to charge into them, I think. So we're just going to move all these guys here, I think. Now they have gone. So now, I guess we do the blizzard check, which is a willpower test. And I think with the willpower test, we're just looking for a successful hit, essentially. So I guess we're just going to start with Wrathbane here, who's 2 oranges. Okay, that's an unfortunate start. So he's slowed, which doesn't do any good for me. I think that slices his charge rule in half or something. I don't know, look at that when it matters. So now let's go with the Hetman, which is 2 oranges again. And he succeeds, that's terrible. Alright, Wisemane here. We got an orange and a yellow. Okay, he's good. We got 1 orange for the bucklermen. They're good. This is not good. And my hunters, which is 1 orange. And they are slowed. Tragic. And I already did him, so they're all good. And the war surgeon in the back. And they're good. Okay. Well, that's the way it goes, I guess. So they didn't end up with any effect from the snow, which is kind of dumb considering the Northmen you think would be more effective in the snow. But here we are. So now I think they go first again, or I go first again. Does it keep the same? Surely it would keep the same thing for the turn. And the initiative would swap after the round, which we're in the second turn of the round. No, I just saw a thing talking about initiative. I don't want to spend this whole time flipping through the rules, but I am trying to figure that out. Slowed. Subtract 4 strides from your charge movement, so I'll only have a 6. If you have the initiative token, you will decide who starts deploying first. We skip that if you do not have initiative. It's first terrain element. Yeah. Okay, so that just decides who has initiative. Which doesn't really help me. I might be wrong here, but that's what we're going to do. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. this back up. So I guess that means I'm going first. And each of these guys has already gone. I can go with them again and stress them. And that will come off at the end of the round. So that might be a worthwhile gamble. But I think I'm just going to bring up these guys, which also have a 3-2 move. And these guys do have conquer value, which means I guess I get a, just gonna flip these. I don't know what's the appropriate way to indicate these things, but that's what we're doing. Also, I think it's 3 strides close to something that they can contest it. So these guys have gone. Oh, but they were slowed. What does that do for regular movement? I mean, I only moved once, but can I only move once, or does it subtract something else here? Your unit cannot use its second move value when performing a move. This only must subtract 4 at the end of your activation. Okay, well that's fine for me, because instead of a 3-2, I could just do 2 move actions and do a 3-3. So I'm going to leave them there. Slowed goes away. So essentially, if I wanted to move 3-2 and then 3-2 again, you couldn't do that. I guess you could only move 3 and 3. It doesn't really specify for both of your actions that you use half, I think, but I'd assume that counts for the whole round. So I just did 2 moves, a 3 and a 3, but I just stopped a little shy, I think. I don't know if I want to move. I'll just leave them here just in case. Okay. So I'm not going to move the surgeon up just yet because there's no healing or anything that needs to happen yet. So I'm going to move up their hetman here, who is not slowed. He has a 2-3. We're just going to... and his range is 8. And he is not in range. He's just out of range to shoot. So he can't shoot. I think he's also just going to do one move. So that would be 2 and 2. And I think he has to keep this until he goes, because it says at the end of the activation, I believe. And then at the end of these turns, the units who didn't go get to do 1 move. So this guy has a 2-3 move, and the war surgeon has a 3-3 move. I'm gonna just try to tuck up behind there. So go ahead and grab these activation tokens. This guy is still slowed, and then we move the round counter 2 turns. Place event marker in position 1, 1, 1. Okay, so I think that's the only event we're playing. So I guess that's just the snow turn. So now we go to the first round of the next turn, or the next round, which is the next 2 turns. And I don't know if this is how this would work, but I'm going to assume that this initiative token comes back to me, and I could decide, I guess, if I'm going to go first or if they're going to go first. I think it would probably be smart for me to go first. And I think I want to go with Wrathmane. And I'm going to go ahead and spend my 1 command token. Once per round, reduce stress from all allied units. So it's okay. Ahsoka, lay down. There's nobody here. Lay down. Wait, you want to go see that there's nobody here? There, go enjoy. Nobody's there. So I'm going to use his 1 thing, his 1 token, because he has the command stuff. Oh, he's also elite. Okay, well, I don't know. So with him, I can do Wrath Roar once during your activation. An enemy unit within 10 strides receives the frightened and disarmed states, which these guys are within 10. Frightened and disarmed. I don't know if I have to roll that. Let me see if it's actually in here, because I feel like does that just happen? Or do I have to roll like a willpower test or something? These abilities do not require an action to apply their effects, only the expenditure of a command token on the fulfillment of the requirements. In the case of units with more than 1 troop, their abilities are always available, no matter the number of miniatures. Okay, so I don't guess you have to roll anything. Okay. But what is frightened and disarmed? Frightened, your unit must reroll all successful willpower tests. Okay. Your unit must cancel 1 die from its attack rolls in which it has obtained at least 1 successful hit. In the case of multiple, your opponent will choose which one. So if they get a dice with 2, you must apply this effect, remove this state at the end of the activation. Okay. So these guys have that. I have to subtract 4 from my charge value, but that's still going to get me there, so I could still charge. So I'm going to charge into these guys. Which, because I'm charging, which is in a straight line, that gives me the ability to reroll all of my successful attacks. I want to make sure. I think this little plus sign has to do with stressing, so I could like gain some extra attack benefits. This is a little diagram with all the stuff. 6. Some of this stuff is not super clearly labeled, I'm not gonna lie. And this doesn't really tell me. I don't think. I'm pretty sure that that little plus symbol, or no, maybe that is on the charge. I wish this was more clear. I really do, because this is fairly confusingly laid out. Let's see, is there anything? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say, because I also kind of think that that might be on the charge. 7A, which 7B, we distinguish between range and melee in the case of ranged. Attacks can have one or more switches associated, which that is indicated under the stuff. That I know. Does it state? Page 18 for charge. Attack. This doesn't say. I'm just gonna... I feel like that's like if you spend a stress, you get that stuff, but this little lightning bolt, they don't say what it means unless I'm just missing it somewhere. I can't find anything of what this little lightning bolt means on the player cards. So, I mean, let's see, is the lightning bolt next to any ranged attacks? No, okay, so maybe it isn't. Maybe that is charge. We're going to go with that, actually, because it's not on any of the ranged symbols. Although it's on the defense symbols. Okay, never mind. We're going to revert back to what my original thought process was, because I just don't know. God, I'm blind. We'll say this TV resolution also just ain't great. Stress, lightning, bolt bonuses. Add same issue. Okay, thank you. Yeah, once I saw that that was on the... you also add stress even if you will eventually go over the threshold. But that's bad for you at the end of the activation. Yeah, and they're little... in this little booklet that they come with, this little, like, diagram that is supposed to go over like all the little symbols on the card, I guess just didn't really want to talk about that. So, all good. Should have brought my dang glasses down here. Anyways. So, I'm not going to stress, I don't think. Although I don't have any. I'm not going to stress. We're just going to run the attack as it is. So that is a red, 2 oranges, and a yellow. That is not great. Their defense is green, 2 greens and a black. Yeah, so they've got 2 defense, and then this converts to a 3rd. So I'm going to have to re-roll whether I want to or not. Okay, fantastic. So I've got 4 hits on them, and they've got 3 defends. Now, if I spend the switch on this hit, because this is a hit and an exclamation point, does it get rid of the exclamation point, or does it just spend the symbol? I would assume you're just spinning the symbol, because otherwise, why would they ever combine those? That doesn't make sense. So I've got 4 hits and 2 exclamation points, which I can use to give them vulnerable. So they're going to take 1 wound, and I believe they've got 2 per. Yep. So we're just going to set a wound next to these guys. And now, because I won that, I think they get pushed, I believe. No, just spinning the symbol. Awesome. Thanks for the subscription, Joshua. Appreciate you. So now that I've won technically combat because or is that just face to face? I don't think they roll attacks, but because actually, I don't know. Do they get pushes optional? Have to declare stress first, but no, I wouldn't have to. So it would kind of be dumb of me not to push them, considering none of my guys really have conquering value to speak of, and they're kind of the main people that I need to get rid of. So they do a move with their first move value. I'm just gonna scooch these guys away from the middle, and then I can follow. Oh yeah, because I can only use the first half anyway. So we both have 3, so I'm just gonna engage back with them. And then now he's not slowed. So I guess that's it. And because they took damage, they don't roll attacks, but some units have attack in their defense. Yeah, so you can end up getting hit back just with defense dice. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think it makes it a little interesting, actually. So now that they have taken damage and I did not take damage, they would receive a stress, I think. And I guess if they'd blocked everything of mine and rolled a hit, then maybe I would have taken stress in that scenario. Stress. So they are stressed. Now, I don't actually know what that does. Stress. The unit's morale value indicates the maximum level of stress it can handle. At the end of a current activation, a unit at a stress level higher than its morale must pass a willpower test to avoid becoming demoralized. I read this stuff actually yesterday. Now I vaguely remember, but I don't remember what demoralized does. Although, actually, I think demoralized, I just can't activate them at all. I think that's what it was. That's what I'm going to go with. So, if these guys go, although their morale is only at 1, so I guess they'd be fine. It has to be higher than. But Wrathmane has gone, and he has spent his command token. Now, in this, can people... like a ranged, can you shoot into melee combat? I know like in Legion, you can't shoot into engagements. That's kind of like a safety net. I would assume that that's the same idea here, that I can't shoot Wrathmane in melee combat. I would have to move into melee, I guess. Although he also has melee. Honestly, it looks like his melee is better than his ranged. Although it kind of sucks, actually, because with the War Surgeon, just a passive at the end of the round during No One Gets Left Behind, steps that are within 5 strides, heal 1. So that 1 wound that they took is going to get healed. That's unfortunate. Might have just goofed a little bit with Wrathmane. He does have okay defense, I guess. Let's... yeah, that would make sense. It would kind of suck to get stuck, which is why you might have pushed and not followed up. Okay, cool. So you could get into combat, and then I guess if you win the combat, you could push them away to make it even worse, I guess. And then they could get shot into to get them away from you. That would make sense. Let's see. His range is only 8. I might be able to get in range here. So we're just going to go with the Hetman and... yeah. He's got a 2-3. And I think he doesn't have Conquer, so still nobody has this middle point. And we're in range, so he's gonna move and shoot, which is just an orange dice. Now, is this on? No. I thought I was seeing something about people having like extra hits guaranteed to the side, or is that for stressing? Yeah, I don't remember who it was I was watching when I was trying to kind of figure out this stuff. That with Hetman stuff, they were like adding one extra guaranteed hit to like his shooting, but it doesn't look like that's on his elite card or his regular card, so. Okay. All right, well, we're just gonna roll this one dice, I guess. And that's terrible. That's literally as good of a hit as he probably could have hoped for. So, because he has a hollow, he gets an extra hit. So this is 2 hits. And the Orc Hunters defend with 2 blacks and a green. Okay, and we defend all of it. So we are all good. So he tried and he failed. Man, I am blind. Let's see. I'm gonna bother. Okay. So now I've got to go with somebody. And I kind of want to charge again, just for the sake of it. And these guys are my only guys with conquer value. So if I can get into that and control it, then that would be good. So their charge value is 10. He just shot me at 8, so I know I'm in range. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Just gonna run up on this dude. So we attack with a red, 3 orange, and a yellow. So we got 4 and enough to inflict vulnerable with switches. So if I charge into somebody, and like in this case, I apply vulnerable, does that affect... Where in the process does that happen? I would assume that that doesn't affect their immediate defense, but it will affect their next defense. Is that correct? Not sure. Hetman defends with a blue and a black. And he might have just died. Either way. And even if he's stressed, which in hindsight I probably would have done because of 4 hits coming his way, he still would die because he only has 3 wounds, and that stress would have given him 1 guaranteed block. So he most likely would be dead. So I think the Hetman, I think he's dead anyways. So that was a good roll on my part. So, okay, didn't even have to use my charge. And, oh, well, I couldn't finish move on that, but whatever. And now that gives me this. I do like in this game that you don't have to babysit your objectives. You just have to keep in mind that if somebody gets to them, that they could also take them. Because there's a lot of times in Legion where like you just have to leave a unit doing nothing to keep that objective controlled. Because if you leave, then I guess nobody's controlling it. So that's both my activations. Which means they have one left. Now, I'm not going to go with the War Surgeon because I don't think I need to. Reduce by 1 the target's stress. Roll red and orange. You may heal 1 target. First aid. I don't think I even need to do that because the passive's going to heal them anyway. So I think I just go with the hegemony and attack, I guess, because in this case I can't charge or assault or anything. So do I just get the one action of attacking in melee, I guess? Is this like assault without moving? Because there's not even a short action that has to do with melee. Oh, I guess resolve face-to-face roll. What the hell's a face-to-face roll? Aren't all rolls face-to-face, technically? Whatever. So we got a red and 3 orange. And I'm not going to bother stressing with these guys because all it does actually doesn't do anything. If I get any hollow things, I'll get an extra shield. Oh boy. So 4 hits, and technically I have 2 hollows, which means that they're going to get 2 shields if I happen to roll anything on defense, and my defense is 2 blues and a black. So now technically, because I'm defending with Wrathmane, even though he's already gone, could I stress to get this 1 extra red dice and a guaranteed hit? And then that stress would just go away at the end anyways, because this is... Oh, well, this is the turn. I guess it would go away at the end of... What is happening? I feel like I just got way off my... Or no, we're in this... Okay, yeah, this is the end of the round. I am confused. So I guess I'm gonna... Because it's gonna go away anyways. Because this is the last turn of the round. So that stress was just gonna go away anyway, so it's not gonna potentially affect me in any negative way. And that adds a red dice and I guess a guaranteed hit to my roll. So I'm just gonna put this yellow dice there. So I've got, and because he's elite, that hollow count. So we've got 2. So I've got 3 defends, which means I'm going to take 1 damage. And then I've got 2 damage back, which doesn't do anything, unfortunately. So I just take... So I take a damage. And actually, in saying that, that puts him at 2 stress because I took a wound, which means I lost combat. And I guess now they could push me, which given that the goal is for him to get close. I don't know why they wouldn't. So we're just... And they're gonna... Yeah, because I don't have any range. They're gonna follow. Oh, messing it all up. And... Although, I think the disarmed is just on defense. But now because he's... Oh, well, his morale's 2, so he's not in danger yet. But if he does get a third one, which he'll lose one of them at the end of this round, so he should still be okay. But with that disarmed, have actually changed any of that? Don't. You must cancel 1 die from its attack rolls in which it obtained at least 1 hit. Ah, well. Well, I'll just leave that for the next attack. I messed that up, and they got a bunch of hits too, which means I probably could have canceled out 2 of their hits. Because I think they had a dice that had 2, which means I could have removed that. But, oh well. We'll just use it in the next thing, because I'm sure they're going to attack again. But that's the end of the round. Well, let's move these fellas, because they got to move. So he's going to do a 2 and a 3 in the hopes of maybe getting in the mix in this last round. And the War Surgeon has a 3-3, but I just need to end within 5. Which... We'll just do 1 move, tuck in, and that's going to heal through Science Not Superstition at the end of the round during the No One Gets Left Behind step. The allied units that are within 5 may heal 1 wound. So, get rid of that. Stress goes away. I'm going to leave. Oh, but then I had the vulnerable state too. I feel like I just messed that all up. But vulnerable, I think, is specifically on defense. Oh, whatever. But honestly, because that lead, well, no, they're still just shy of it. I guess because we both have a. Oh no, they have more. So actually, if they get closer to this middle objective in this last round, then they'll take that, and then I will lose. And I don't see me killing them because I haven't really done any damage to them. So that's tragic. So I just need to go in and hope for the best, I guess, with Wisemane, maybe. This dude's stress is going to go down to 1. Give me these activation tokens. Okay. So, into 5. I'm going to move this over there. I would assume that they probably... I have the 3 units, and then there's 2 turns. So basically I'm playing 3 per side. I'm alternate activating 2 of the units, and then I'm just, no one gets left behind, moving whatever unit didn't get played that turn. That makes sense. I think that's how I saw this little starter scenario going. So yeah, so I haven't used with the War Surgeon or the Wisemane yet at all. They've just been getting popped up the field, essentially. The War Surgeon is just kind of there. I don't really feel like I need to do anything with them. I haven't needed to do anything with them yet. And the Wisemane has a shorter charge than both the other units, so I just figured I would try to get him up the field in some other way. No. All right, so now technically they would have initiative. I would assume that I would want to go first on that side. I don't think there's really any benefit to me going first. But if I combat with these guys and I win and I push them back, what happens to these guys? Would they get like displaced, or would I have to push like off to one side? That I don't know. But I'm going to go with the bucklermen. And I'm going to attack. I'm not going to stress because I don't think I need to. You have to push off to the side. Okay. And that's technically fine because I could push him toward the house and then still follow up and get in range of that objective, I think. So we'll do that. I need a red and 3 orange. And I gotta remember that they are disarmed. Oh, that's a willpower thing. So they have no hollow exclamation points, so they don't get any shields. Okay, yeah, that works. But because they're disarmed, it says that there's any more than 1 successful hits that I get to pick, which means I could just eliminate the 2 hits, and then that only gives them 2 successful hits that I need to worry about. On Wrathbane. And I'm not going to stress again, because there's no way I'm going to be able to do enough damage to them, I think, in this turn to kill them. And I don't think I'm even going to do enough damage to get them sub 2 to lower their conquer value, so... Or maybe I should. I mean, it's the last round. There's no point in me not stressing, I guess, to be fair. Worst case. Because it says if you end at the end of your activation and you have more stress, then you're demoralized. But this is the last round of this scenario, so it doesn't matter. Because worst case, he's not going to go in the next turn, which there isn't one. So we are going to stress on defense. And that gives me that extra red dice to try to get some damage back. And that gives me 1 guaranteed hit, which I'm going to set right there. And so I've got 2 successes because he's elite. We've got 2 damage going back and nothing else. So I actually win that. Does that mean that I can push them away even though I wasn't the attackers? Because I did 2 damage and I blocked both of their damage, so they did 0 and I did 2 to them. Is that how that works? Let me get rid of this because I just used it. That means that's going to be 1 dead guy. I could push. Oh, stand up. And the War Surgeon doesn't have any conquer value, so I'm not really worried about him. But with 2 damage, one of these guys is dead. That's theirs. They get gone. Do I want to follow? I don't really think it would matter. You know, the pushback mechanic has actually been really interesting because it's given me kind of a way to keep them away from the objective, given that I have a low conquering value. So I can kind of capture stuff up the field and keep them back, which is kind of cool. I don't think I really need to go toward them. But just, I guess, for the sake of thematicness, well, I think I moved him further than I needed to because I only pushed him 3. We both have 3s. Yep. We're just going to keep marching down this field. So they just went, and that was just my defense response. I want to go with Wisemane because he was my favorite model out of the deal. Painted him like Gul'dan. Tried anyways. I really dig these orc models. They were very Warcrafty to me, so I painted them like the Maghar orcs, like the brown orcs, and then the shaman and the Wisemane I painted green, just because I thought it was neat. But I'm not super satisfied with my paint jobs on them, to be honest. And that shaman model, I don't know if I just got a poor casting or what, but my god, that thing was messy. Yeah, I think he has so much detail on him, it doesn't really matter what you go with color-wise. As long as you hit most of the details, will come out pretty cool looking, so that's nice. Move his stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if you'll really be able to see that in this lighting, to be fair, but it's okay, but like especially around the belt where that little like string of stuff hangs, it's a little messy. It kind of gets lost in there a little bit. It wasn't awful. I just had a really hard time making out what I was looking at, to be honest. And ironically, the dude with the tusks on his back and the big axe was like my test subject to paint that kind of palette. And I was pretty happy with it, and then I didn't like at all how it translated to the other 3 because they don't have like the tusks and stuff. But whatever. These honestly might get repainted at some point because that's what I was most excited about getting the box for, and I'm not super thrilled with how they came out, but that's okay. I want to go with Wisemane, but his charge is only a 9. So I could just charge the War Surgeon just for the sake of being an a-hole, and I think I'm gonna. So we're gonna charge into the War Surgeon because they came out from their hidey hole. Yeah, are you talking about the hegemony people? Is that the other name for them? I don't really know, to be honest. I had a miserable time painting the bucklermen and stuff because of all the gold trim and all the tiny little stuff. I hated every bit of it. Honestly, the part that I hated the most was their pants, and that ended up being my favorite part. So, whatever. I kind of wish I'd painted them like a more traditionally like medieval, I guess, which I think they've got another faction that's a little bit more like medieval, like European medieval looking, I think, but I don't guess they're out. I'm not sure what their release cadence is going to be for like the other factions and stuff, because there's also that like demonic looking faction that's pretty cool. And again, there's no point in me not stressing here, so I'm gonna stress on this attack, and that gives me 1 extra red and a guaranteed, I'm just going to use this green exclamation point. That's 2 reds, 2 orange, and a yellow. And that is 5 hits and vulnerable, which I don't think I want to re-roll that, so I'm not gonna. And the War Surgeon defends with 1 black dice. Oh, No way. They're dead. All right. You know, I really didn't... I expected this to be worse than it was for the orcs, just given the defensiveness of the bucklermen, but, you know. So that is one activation on each. And that means I have to go again with the bucklermen, and they're going to get stressed to do so. Yeah, I don't really guess they do a whole lot outside of a unit. Yeah, I mean, even just the medic passive is pretty good. When your unit's about to suffer damage, roll your willpower and ignore one for each hit. When your unit performs the rest action. What the hell is a rest action? I don't even know. These guys are going to get stressed. Not that it matters, because I have to activate them again. They're the only ones left. Can I just walk away from combat? So just for the sake of... Well, they're still not 2-, which means they'd still win. Like... Yeah, 3+ or 2-. So, like, could I just walk... like, do a move to contest this point, because if I do, then they would win, because they still have 2 conquering to my 1? Or am I stuck in combat? Is that like a whole action? I will say this like it covers some of the basic stuff, but I really wish they didn't just actually included like the whole proper book. Oh, that's right. Because it opens up to like a counterattack or whatever to the unit that it's leaving. But hey, that's still a gamble that I would probably take, because as long as I don't take 2 wounds, they still have 3 guys, and they still win. Yeah, it looks nice. I like having the like the thick books. Like Don't Look Back came with that as like their rule book, and it has like lore and stuff in it. But even just a more dedicated rule book than just this kind of tutorial book would have been nice, because there's clearly stuff that they just don't cover in this, which is kind of a pain. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and try to move these guys, because I don't have any other choice, and hopefully they don't lose 1 guy and they would win. As much as I'm playing my orcs, I'm still trying to play both sides as if I was playing those people. So they're gonna move. Yeah, if they get the double move, they'll make it, I think, within range of that. But first, that opens them up to be attacked. I'm not going to stress, because... You know what? I am going to stress. As much as I want it to be whatever. And that just gives me a guaranteed hollow and... What am I looking at? Yeah, it gives me a hollow and a solid. And then I've got 2 red, an orange, and a yellow. Alrighty. That's 3. And I'm not going to bother with vulnerable because inflict 1 blood drop. Is that actually a thing, or is that just a symbol for a wound? I think that's a symbol. No, it is. Yeah, I'm not going to bother looking. Which makes my case better. Oh, actually. Holy crap. Actually, this just... because that means that just the switches alone are going to kill one of these guys. Which means that best case now is we tie, I guess. Yeah, so for each hollow hit, they get a wound. And then I defend with... and they defend 2, 3 because of the solid. So they defend 3, which means that just one guy dies from the switches alone, I guess. Which means that this is a tie. So now they get to do both of their things, which is 3, 3. Not gonna bother doing the second move. Although I guess I could have, again, canceled one of the dice, which would have put 1 wound on, say, this guy. We'll get rid of that. I don't actually remember what that was. We'll just get rid of all that. And I guess now they'd be... why didn't they go the double-sided route with these tokens? I mean, maybe it's a printing thing, but like, why not just have it where it's 1 stress and then you could flip it for 2? Whatever. And they'd still have that one. And because we both moved in range, now they're 2 minus, so their conquer value is 1, so it's 1 to 1, which means that this doesn't belong to anybody. Which means that it's a tie. A tie game. Well, that's not the most exciting conclusion. I mean, I guess it's an exciting conclusion for the hegemony men, because they were getting kind of wrecked, and then they just barely came out with a tie. What are you looking at?
Welcome to Rivendell.
Okay. Make sure I'm not moving this dice tray all over the place. So scenario 2, Mirror of the Wasteland. I want to run either magic, but I feel like there was something weird with magic, but we'll cross that in a second. So let's go ahead and clear this. What's the layout? Just a pond, huh? Actually, do I have... no, it's more in the corner. I'm not going to use that. So, where did I put all those little cardboard cutouts for this game? Put them on top of something. Actually, does the scenario use the little... Does it use the water specifically? High command can't join units. Okay. Blue objective, only the spellcaster can interact with this marker. There's only 2 objectives. And both mages are going for blue. Event marker, the player with this marker places it on the spellcaster character during the activation of the character. May spin the marker to perform the long action, release the storm. The player with this marker places its event 2 marker. A bonus of Comm 1, whatever that means. I feel like this is getting far more complicated all of a sudden. We went one page. Oh. That elf's a woman? I thought it was a dude. Whatever. Place the terrain elements. As indicated. Oh, and I guess maybe the other one. I thought the other one's at the end of the game that you score the points. Maybe it was. But this scores at the end of each round. And then at the end you get different stuff. And just scenario. So is there no... So there's no actual like hit or a event thing for the counter? Game ends at the end of round 3. So it's 3 rounds with 3 turns. If the character has the event 1 marker, they may exchange it for the event 3 marker. Place the event 3 marker on the character's profile, mark the achievement copper key in the companion log. Not even going to bother with whatever that is. If not in play, place the event 4 marker position 1 ahead of the current one. Alright, they're losing me. They're losing me completely. What is happening? Eleven 1B, make a willpower test before rolling the dice. Persuade. Alright, let's just start with... What's up, Johnny? Trying to get this scenario 2 set up, but man, they go from scenario 1 to scenario 2. It gets a little crazy. I don't like this thing. Actually, can we just use... Let's see, can we use this guy? Is it flat now? Hell yeah, we can. Alright. We'll just use the paper thing that comes with it. I've just had it under that one forever, so it would flatten a little bit, because, my goodness. And I didn't want it to be reflective, but since I'm not using a top-down camera angle, it's not too bad. So, Get that out the way. 20 by 5. Shut this door again. Okay, so is that what we're working with? It doesn't look as thick as it did. I mean, that's my rectangle. So I can't put high command people. So these dudes are gonna have to be, well, I guess this dude doesn't have to be separate, but I need now we can't add them into a unit anyway, so I need this. I'm gonna run him as the elite version. I'm gonna do that for both sides. I can put Wise Main as his own unit. Then if you add him to a unit, does it go from a unit of 4 to a unit of 5? Or do you remove one of the hunters in place of Wise Main? I don't know. But this scenario has 3 turns. Honestly, I might just run them the exact same and not add him to a unit and just run it like this. Still, just for simplicity's sake. But that War Surgeon. So War Surgeon's passive the ally units that are within 5 strides with the heal. So I'm going to try to run him as more of a AoE person. So I'm going to keep him solo again just so it's similar on both sides, and I'm just going to try to keep in mind to run him as a healer of sorts. So let me get these cards situated. And then here we've got Dragoslav and the Frostfire Herald, which I'm gonna do it like this. Okay. Move this chair out the way. Just throw a couple trees back on here, because we like a little bit of immersion and stuff. And we're just not going to play with any of that being covered. It's literally just there for the sake of looking like it. Let me check. Actually, this tree we'll put over here in the corner so y'all can see a little bit better. And it's not really a good spot for that tree. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that right there. That'll work. Okay. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I really don't understand the events and stuff that are happening in here. I'm just trying to get some stuff set up. So I'm going to deal with the round counter and all that stuff in just a second. And for now, I'm going to just focus on getting set up, which I'm actually going to grab some of these little Legion deployment markers. to mark this so I don't have to keep these tools here. Sorry if that was like really loud. So I'm just gonna oh yeah, I did just put a tree straight in the deployment zone. Whoops. More or less. So let's roll just to see who ends up with initiative. I'm gonna roll this for me. I got 1. Roll this for them. They got 1. Me, them. Okay, so they've got initiative again, which means that they pick who deploys first, which there's, of course, no reason for me not to deploy first. Now, this is still alternating, but also given that this point has to be controlled by a mage, and then this one, well, I guess actually, it's kind of like right there. Put these bushes over there. There's no point for me to not deploy my mage in this corner to go that way. And we're going to do the same thing for them. We're going to put Al Bork here in the corner. Hetman, I'll put him over here just in case he can get off some shots in some other capacity. We obviously want Wise Man going into the mix. War Surgeon. Yeah, I guess while we're in the middle of this, try to actually show y'all what these guys actually look like. Granted, the light is just not in a useful spot to show that, but yeah, so they're painted kind of like the Frostwolf clan or what have you. But we're going to deploy these guys to go straight for that objective. And likewise, these guys are also going to go straight for that objective because why wouldn't they? So anyways, now we got to figure out this gosh dang round counter. And I'm going to put some fences out. Just because I'm literally not going to acknowledge them at all. I can just going to move over them as I want. Just to make it look a little bit more interesting. Put on this. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it like that. Just because it looks kind of plain without it. So this just adds a little bit more texture. And we'll put this little broken cart stuck in the snow. Okay. What the F is going on with these events? Place the terrain elements as indicated. Got it. Place the objectives as indicated. Got it. Each round is 3 turns. So I'm going to go ahead and place this sucker on round 3, or turn 3. At the end of each round, you obtain a military point if your company controls objective 1. At the end of the game, you obtain 2 arcane points if your company has the event 3 marker. And your company gains event 4 marker. I'm not gonna bother with that last part. End of the scenario. The game ends at the end of round 3 when one of the companies has no units left on the battlefield, or when all units from one of the companies are demoralized. High command characters cannot join units. That's fine. We didn't do any of that. Walls. This terrain element blocks line of sight. It's kind of a weird thing to say, considering there's no walls, as indicated in the thing. Are there supposed to be walls? I mean, I guess I could play it that way. I'm not gonna, because the idea of them just meeting out in the forest to obtain this magical thing, which y'all actually can't see thanks to my camera, but that's okay. Blue objective, only the spellcaster characters can interact with this marker. Okay. Spellcaster, okay. The player with this marker, event 1 marker, the player with this marker places it on the spellcaster character. During their activation, the character may spend the marker to perform the long action, release the storm. All units from your opponent's company must face their willpower. To 3 blues? What does that mean? So, like, if I roll 3 blues, if the roll is not successful, they receive the slowed state, remove the event marker. And then, like, for this dude, his willpower is this. So in that case, like, I fail, I guess. But if I rolled, like, 2 of these suckers, does that mean that I would succeed? So it's kind of fighting me on succeeding it, I guess, is the idea. Then you get points as the event 3 marker. So you can interact with the blue mark to get the storm. The player with this marker places it on the high command character, comm +1. I don't know what that is. And I don't remember seeing anything about that in the book, so I'm gonna ignore that, I guess. Event 3 marker, the unit with this marker on its profile before being removed from the scenario, place the event marker adjacent to its base, so you drop it, and that's where we want to, I guess, hold that marker. But what's the event 3 marker, and what's the event 2 marker? Because it makes the blue mark over here sound like that's the release the storm ability. But then, like, can you pick this up? I don't understand. I feel like I'm missing like a page of this, but this is all that's here. Actually, does it say anything on this? First round, demoralized. Yeah, dice, game round. No one gets left behind. Remove activations, determine the initiative. Yep. Form a skill. I'm going through scenario 2, the Mirror of the Wasteland. Actually, yeah. And you have all these special rules for this scenario. I'm assuming that the blue mark is the blue objective. Only the spellcaster can interact with this marker. And I guess if they interact with that, which like is interacting an action, I don't really know. You get a token that you could spend to perform a skill. Okay, I get that in some capacity. And then, but the confusing part is after release the storm in the little special rules thing, it says event 2 marker. The player with this marker places it on its character with high command, their company. The character now has a comm +1. I don't know what that is. CON +1? No idea. Where's comm? Conquer? No, that's CON. command? I have no idea. And then it says event 3 marker. The unit with this marker on its profile before being removed from the scenario places its event marker adjacent to its base, and then retrieve, which is also an action, it looks like. Place the event marker on the unit's profile. But what event marker is it talking about in the event 3 thing? Because it also says you get 2 points if your company has the event 3 marker. Oh! Yeah, I didn't think about that. Command tokens, that makes sense. That's why it goes on your high command character. Okay, cool. And then you got all these other things to the right of this page. That is just so... Man, they really went from like, here, have this kind of vague general scenario 1 to scenario 2, and they just... Maybe this is part of where playing the step-by-step stuff would maybe make a little more sense. But dang it, I just want to play the game, you know? Because the first scenario wasn't too bad. Snowstorm? Perfect. For this, my god. Has the event 1 marker, they exchange. 11.1a, exchange. If the character has the event 1 marker, they may exchange it for the event 3 marker. So I guess you get the event 1 blue only can interact event 1 marker, place this marker on spellcaster character. So you can pick up the blue marker. Because based on what this kind of says, it looks like you can almost pick up the blue mark and you can... All right, let's get the chair back over here. The character spellcaster controlling this objective may, in contact with the marker, which is the blue one, perform a simple action, exchange. If the character has the event 1 marker, they may exchange it for the event 3 marker. Place the event 3 marker on the character's profile, mark the achievement copper key in the campaign log, not dealing with the campaign log. If not in play, place the event 4 marker 1 position ahead of the current one on the turn tracker. So I guess at the end of turn 2, no, I'm still lost. This back up. Remove the blue objective from the field. So basically, I guess a mage needs to get to the blue token. And while they have the blue token, they can cast... You don't exactly know what makes you separate the 2 pieces of the vase and open it. It's an impulsive. That doesn't really help. Hopefully one of y'all makes sense of it, because I ain't making no sense of it. Receives a splat icon. They didn't talk about the splat icon in literally anything. I kind of want a general sense of a way to play through this that makes maybe a little bit more sense. Because right now I don't really understand the purpose of this red objective. military point. If your company has the event 4 marker. Like, is that just the event 4 markers, so you just get one victory point for controlling the red? Jesus, the tinge. Forgot all about that. I didn't read about that because honestly I didn't expect to get through the first one so quickly, I'm not gonna lie. Place the event marker. So it seems like if I take this person to the blue mark, it gets picked up, and then it's like this character has it, and I can exchange that for the event 3 mark, which you get 2 points for at the end of the game if you have it. And if you die while holding it, it gets placed back down on the ground so somebody else can pick it up. So this becomes a mobile objective, kind of, and the goal is to have it. But the wizard has to pick it up to begin with, and then exchange it, and then anybody can pick it up. And the goal is for somebody to end the game with it to get 2 extra points. So that makes sense. But what's the purpose of the red objective? Is that just fighting over like a regular conquer value? But it says 1 military point if your company has the event 4 token. I don't know what that is. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to just play it as we have 1 mobile objective that a wizard needs to get to first, exchange it, and then it becomes a mobile, kind of. And then we have 1 stationary objective just to fight over for the conquer value people. And then the conquering stuff scores at the end of each round. So your main points are coming from the red objective each round, and then you kind of get a 2-point boost at the end of the game if you hold the blue objective. I think that's what I want to play this as in a simplified sense, because the main thing that I think I need to worry about in this scenario is figuring out the spellcasters. That would probably make more sense. I'm not going to bother with the Release the Storm or any of the event stuff. I'm just going to kind of play this as an objective-based versus, in a sense. And that seems like a better way to go about trying to figure out any of this stuff. But before we do that, we got to check the spellcasting stuff. Because again, I didn't really anticipate getting to this that quick. So, spellcasters and spells. Let's just get 4-3, so they move pretty far. Interesting. So we have the name of the spell. So let's just look at Fire Blaze. Target enemy within 7 strides. Resolve a ranged attack against the target unit. The spell has a range of 12. Your attack gains the following switch. I guess actually while I'm reading this, I'll come over here so anybody can actually see what I'm talking about and I can see what you're saying. You likely can't get tinge, or rather can't roll against it, but you can power up spells by risking more tinge. Then you gain tinge. It becomes riskier and riskier to roll against more. So tinge is basically tracking if you rolled hollows on black dice equal to how many tinge you have. So you get to convert like hollows to hits based on how many tinge, or the first time you cast you likely can't get tinge, or rather can't roll against it. But you can power up spells by risking more tinge. And then as you gain tinge, it becomes riskier to roll against more. Not gonna lie, still stumped. Anyways, so this is what we're looking at right here. So that's what we're attacking with, but I think you must comply with the requirements to cast, which doesn't look like that spell really has any requirements other than the range. Passives. Performing rest, remove 1 tinge from the profile. Think of the tinge roll as the face-to-face you're trying to beat. So to cast that spell first, you have to roll tinge if any. Spellcasting is always requires a test for tinge or magic, then you make the attack. Okay. Which I think there was a section about tinge in this book, if I remember correctly. Maybe not. Oh. In order to apply the effects of a spell, your spellcaster unit must be successful with a face-to-face roll between its willpower and the tinge roll that is created from the amount of tinge that it has. In WARCROW, tinge is represented by tinge tokens, which affect both spell casting and the spellcaster unit. Follow these steps to cast a spell. Select one of the spells, declare that you are casting it. Okay, so let's just say in this case I'm going to cast Fire Blaze, the one that we just looked at. Decide if you're going to alter the spell's properties, and then declare which alterations you make. Oh. Wait. No, not O. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh. Okay. So on the spell, I can have a tinge. It's kind of like stress, I guess. So instead of it having a range of 7, it could have a range of 12. Look at the last page inside the back cover. Oh, that's weird. It's like a score sheet. The booklet for the event. Yes, correct. But where do the black dice go? Because I feel like rolling more black dice would be a benefit, right? But in this case, it almost sounds like you are rolling an extra black dice for the benefit of having increased range as well. Does that make sense? It almost sounds like it's presenting as you roll against, they are your opponent. Where'd that page go? Spells can offer different alterations, which are modifications to their effects and properties. You can select as many alterations as you wish for the same, casting a maximum of 1 each. Check that all requirements for casting a spell are met, taking into account any properties altered during the previous step. For example, the spell might have more range. Yep. If any requirement is not met, you will not be able to cast a spell. Yep. Create your tinge roll. Take 1 black for each tinge token your spellcaster unit has. Additionally, each selected alteration adds, as it cost indicates, the first 3 dice of the tinge roll will be black, the next 3 dice will be blue, and the last 3 will be green. You cannot roll more than 9 dice in tinge roll. Resolve a face-to-face roll between the willpower value of your spellcaster and the tinge roll. Your opponent rolls the dice. I am my opponent. As with any face-to-face roll, the shields obtained on the tinge will cancel. Okay, so if I'm going to cast the Fire Blaze, and let's just say, okay, if I don't do any modifiers, right, is there a tinge roll? Because I'm not rolling against anything. At that point, I just have to pass a willpower check. So if I just roll my willpower, which is, in this case, 3 orange, so like, okay, cool, I pass. And then if I decided to increase its range and gain a switch, then I would roll these 2 against that, which in this case, I'm still fine. But if I rolled, well, I don't guess there's any way that would work. So in that case, I would fail, and then I can't cast the spell. Yes, your first spell with no modifiers is easy. So then what happens in this case if, say, I move and then go to cast a spell, I just fail? And then that's just the end of that unit's activation? Or you could pass and gain tinge. If you fail, you fail if you hit no success. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I think we've got a general idea of this. I'm going to go over this just in case in a physical sense, so maybe it makes some sort of sense. So if I'm just casting this, you would just cast that, and all you have to do is pass your willpower check. But if you want to add these modifiers, so say I want to increase its range, well, now included in this roll, I'm rolling 1 black dice, so it has the potential, like if I just rolled a bunch of nonsense, like let's just say I rolled that, even with that 1 modifier, then I've failed that spell cast. So hopefully that helps in some capacity kind of make sense of this. I don't know if it was just me really confusing what I was looking at, but there we go. Yeah, reverse the tinge. That's a good way to put it. That makes sense. It's almost seeing it actually play out helps that make some sense. So again, I'm not going to play this scenario with any events. I'm going to play this essentially as a capture the flag kind of sense for the mages with the blue point, and then it becomes a normal point that anybody can pick up to score some extra points at the end, and then we're going to have King of the Hill over on the red. So that's how I'm going to play this. I'm not going to do literally any event markers or anything because it is only mostly confusing. So that's how we're going to do this. That way we could just get through it and go through the motions with the spell casting and stuff, and we'll just slowly add some more stuff onto this. So, Hegemony have initiative. I think there was something with initiative. If they make me deploy first, then they go first or something. I don't really remember. What's the maximum range of these spells? 7, 8, 8, 4 turns, target allied unit within gains intimidating. 8 strides. They got okay range. So I think they're going to go first this game just because I went first last game. So to start, and we're going 3 turns, so there's going to be 1 unit that's not going each round, and there's 3 rounds, so we'll have a total of 9 each. I think, just for the sake of hoofing it, we're going to take this fella out. And as we get into this next game, now that we've dealt with all the nonsense and stuff, if any of this is helpful to anybody, please let me know. And please do hit that sub and that like button, as it helps. And I'm actually really enjoying doing more of this tabletop stuff. We're going to be doing like Legion games, full-scale Legion games. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, there's going to be more of an overhead view for that because it just doesn't fit in this view. But I'm enjoying doing this kind of stuff down here in the game room with you guys. So if you like that stuff, please do let me know. They aren't at max morale. Can double activate. Yes. Yes, yes. This guy is just gonna double move. You could move your hero twice and not move the other 2 units. Only move 1 other unit to the left. Oh, get it. If I move, yeah. Okay. He has double moved the Hegemony Herald, the Frostfire Herald. Next. It kind of seems like the Frostfire Herald's a little bit more offensive than the Evoker, or the Orcs. Oh, I guess actually while I'm thinking about it, we both still only have 1 command token each. Granted, in the last one he died faster than it mattered that he could use it anyways. So 8 stride, resolve a ranged attack against the targeted unit. So, I mean, 8. Yeah, I'm not going to get there just yet. So, we'll just go ahead and move this mage toward the blue as well. 3, 2. 3 and 2. So now we're in turn 2. Now it's their turn. So theoretically now, if my mage dies and their mage picks the thing up, I could just try to kill the person that's holding the thing that is exchanged, and I could technically still get that. I feel like this game is also going to be kind of hard for me to come out of because I'm not as offensive as their mage. I almost want to go with their mage just to try to go ahead and get some attacks on this mage, but I don't know. Maybe we'll do that for the 3rd round. But then it would also make sense for me to do the same thing with their herald, just because only having 1 spellcaster each, the quicker you get rid of the other spellcaster, the better off the other team's going to be. And they both have a morale of 2, so they would be okay. Yeah, maybe we'll do that in the next go round. War Surgeon, again, I'm just going to bring up with no one left behind. I'm going to go ahead and bring the Bucklermen up, which is just double 3s. And we're just going to run straight up and hold this point. Which, now, unless I can get them cleared, I'm going to have a hard time doing anything with that point because they have a better conquer value than I do. So I need to whittle them down ASAP so I can at least neutralize it, if nothing else. What's up, Annie? So let's go ahead and put a token on the bucklerman. Now I go and we move 3-2. Wise Mane. I'm going to bring up, actually, I'm going to bring up the Wise Mane. We have a 2-3. And then I'll be going. Ooh, actually. It is all good. So we just went through the first kind of basic game, and now we're going through one that has a little bit more of a mobile objective and a stationary objective, and we've got spellcasters involved, which has its whole mechanic. Well, technically we just started, but now technically I'm playing the orcs. I'm playing both sides, but I'm playing the orcs. I'm just trying to play them both in a way that makes sense. But technically now the hegemony people are probably winning because they're already on this objective and they have a higher conquer value than I do, so I need to get rid of these guys ASAP, and these mages are just going to duke it out over here, which you can't fully see because it's right behind my camera. And I would move it, but I did not think to separate that as a scene because I didn't think it'd come up, so I can't move that right now. So, sorry. Well, you know what? Hold on. Oh, we're moving it. We're doing it. And we'll just drop this down here so that y'all can see the mages a little bit better. Okay. Now you can see. Yeah, my coffee's all cold. My throat's starting to hurt again. Okay. So I've only gone once with the Wise Mane. Trying to decide if I want to take him up, because technically they're going to get to go again. And, you know, let's be honest, it would make the most sense to charge the Wise Mane. So I think for the benefit of no charge rerolls, I am going to go ahead and engage with them. So at least, because they're going to get to charge me before I can charge them. So at least in that scenario, neither of us get a charge bonus. So we're all tied up there. Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about with the mages. Like, I want to get rid of this mage now that I've brought my own mage into range, but then it's like hard to make that decision because I'm just screwing myself over. But trying to play it in a way that makes sense from both sides best I can. Okay, so now we're going into the last turn, and I think I am going to stress and activate this mage a second time because we are within 7. Oh, we're not within 7, which means I'm going to have to alter this to bump it up once. So I'm adding 1 black dice. So the roll is going to be a red, an orange, and 2 yellows, but I need to pass a willpower test, which is 3 orange and 1 black for the altered spell. So in this case, in this case, I fail, right? Because it canceled. So I just don't get to cast the spell? Is that what just happened? Did the hegemony just fail their roll? 3 orange dice versus 1 black and they lost? Is that right? Am I crazy? Because I don't think I do anything with a hollow. Because he's not elite or nothing. So yeah. Okay, cool. So that works out for me. Now, I guess technically I could run away. Because that was only 1 short action. And casting a spell is a short action. So in that case, because I failed, I guess I should probably run away and at least get out of range for a counter spell. And maybe come back in the next round, I guess. So we're gonna run like the coward that we are. And now we're stressed. And he should be. What kind of mage doesn't successfully cast a spell? What do we even pay this guy for? Okay, so now, hell, I might win this game off the magic thing alone. I kind of... Hey, get out of here, ad block. Trying to read chat and stuff. Get out of my face. And he should be, yeah. Didn't also fail and hit tinge. You also didn't fail and hit tinge. What does that mean? Exactly. But now I don't know if I want to... Although this is the end of the round, so I guess I could stress this. No tinge on the block dice. No follow block. You know what? We'll cross that when it comes up again. Baby steps here, baby steps. I guess I am going to stress this. Wow. The last... Yeah, this is the last round, or the last turn in the round. Do I want to try to bring up any of these guys? Because now I'm kind of in a... You know what? I am, because that stress is going to go away at the end of the thing anyways. And we're going to get... here. So now I have the blue marker. Only the spellcaster can interact. Does interact like a short thing? Or can I go ahead and pick this up and convert it into the marker that I can carry around? I'm a little confused on that. Or is interacting, does it actually say? Melee attack, ranged attack, tendril, perform a skill. Is interact a skill? No, that's an actual skill. Not a thing. Okay, well then that's what we're gonna go with. And we're just gonna say that the thing is to move and claim this, but I can't exchange it yet. Is that fair? That's what we're gonna do. Well, actually, just so I don't have to move this around, I'm just gonna plot this on the card. So, okay, so that's the end of the first round. 1, 2, 3. So we go into 4. I'll go first this time. And those guys lose their stress. And I gotta move everybody else. So the Hetman Dragoslav, I kind of feel like he needs to bring his ass over here. But, so he has options. We're gonna just move him straight. And then the War Surgeon, we're gonna go ahead and move up as well. So they're in range of all those guys. The Orc Hunters, obviously we gotta bring them up into the fold. And Albork has gotta get in there. Okay, well, that's a tight fit, but you get the idea. Okay, now we go into the first turn of the second round. And I'm going to go first, just for sake of alternating. That's what I'm used to. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see. The Wise Man has 3 wounds, so he's probably safe from getting killed. Albork has a charge of 10. So he's in range. I think I'm gonna take Albork and actually I didn't read his passives. Hold on. Sword of the Sun. While you have damage, you gain Dispel, where D are as many as blue from the damage suffered. Plus you may add. So if I've taken wounds, I'm just gonna ignore the blue part because, again, keep stuff kind of simple. I'm just going to say if I've taken damage, I add a yellow dice to my attack roll. If that ever comes up. War Alliance, until the end of the scenario, the characters that can join Orc infantry units can also join Varank infantry units, vice versa. I'm not going to worry about that. Oh, are the Varank the blue guys? They're like, they look kind of like trolls from WoW. Is that Varank? I don't know. I guess they're part of the Northmen, actually. The Warg and the Crow, once per round at the end of the activation of an allied unit, Orc. Activate an allied unit rank and vice versa. The unit can only perform one action. Oh, well, this sucks. I'd be better off having the non-elite version of this guy. Because none of his command skill doesn't really do anything for me. Because I don't have any of those people. That's unfortunate. Okay. So, yeah, we're just gonna... charge into this mix of rankers. Skin changers. Yeah, it didn't hit me until I just thought of it that they do look kind of like the blue trolls, like Vol'jin from WoW and stuff. I want to see more of the I wish they'd get more models out and available, because I think I like the idea of the game, and I want kind of like a fantasy medieval game, because most of what we play is Star Wars Legion. I do want something a little more like medieval fantasy, and this hits that. Yeah, so I did some of these. Some of this painting was done on stream. Like I think I painted Drago on stream, and I did all of the mage here on stream. All the orcs I think I did off stream. I didn't decide to start doing that until afterwards. But yeah, I want to see more of the I wish I could remember what they were called, but there's like another medieval knight kind of faction that I've seen. I want to see more of that. I honestly, I just want to see more of the stuff because it seems pretty cool. So the next kind of large amount of stuff we're getting in December. Oh, and I've also got Halo Flashpoint. That's on pre-order. So there'll probably be some painting streams for that when that gets here. And then I'll have to do basically a similar learning type situation for that as well, which I'm really looking forward to. All right. So we're charging into the Bucklerman. I think I'm going to play this a little more aggressively, perhaps. So we're going to go ahead and stress on the charge. And that gives us a hollow and a exclamation point. So we'll just set that right there. We got a red, 2 orange. Oh, this guy just gets a guaranteed hit. That's where I was seeing that. Okay, so I was talking about earlier with the first game where people were just setting aside guaranteed hits. So here, you just get a guaranteed hit. So you get a red, 2 orange, and a hit. And Dragoslav is the same way. He has a yellow and a guaranteed hit. So slightly less dice, but more stuff. So we have this from the stress. We have this from his roll, and then we're rolling a red and 2 orange. And I'm absolutely not going to re-roll that for my charge because that makes no sense. Why would I do that? So with the hollow that I have here, my target suffers 1 stress. So go ahead and plop that on them. And then I don't have enough exclamation points for anything else. So their defensive roll is 2 greens and a black. These sons of... Oh, man. So that's 3. And then for each exclamation point, they get another shield, which means they have 5 on defense, which blocks all of my stuff. So all that for nothing, except now we're both stressed out. So because neither of us, we just tied completely, I would assume neither of us get a stress and neither of us can push. Or can I push because I initiated the attack? But I thought you only get pushed if you like win the exchange. Because if I can push, that would benefit me heavily. Yeah, that sucks. Because if I could push them, I could push them and not follow them up and then charge with the Wise Mane, but I can't do that. So, feels bad. Okay, well, now we're both just stressed out and nothing. Yeah, they got a stress from one of my switches and I got a stress from purposefully stressing and nothing else. Okay, so he has gone tragic. I think because all that's tied up anyways, I'm gonna go with the mage and I'm gonna move and cast this spell again. Because I need to get within 7, which I should be able to do. Because he moves like a crazy person. He's moving like a 4, 3. Yeah. I think it's safe to say he's in range. So I don't have to roll a black dice this time. But I am going to roll, because I only defend with a red and a black. I am gonna do one extra modifier that will cancel one of my target's shields. So I am gonna still roll this black dice, even though given that luck, I should probably just... Okay, so we got one black dice and 3 for willpower. And that is a success. So now I can actually roll my attack roll on the thing. So now that I have succeeded with the black dice, I will cancel one of my defense dice. So now let's roll for the actual spell. And this is Fire Blaze. Target enemy within 7. Resolve ranged attack with a red, an orange, and 2 yellow. And we got 1, 2, 3. And that is it. So we got 3 on the hit. That's tragic. And I defend with a red and a black. Okay, well I got a damage through, so that's something. And then I blocked one, but because of that stupid modifier, this black dice is solid. Yeah, some of the lighting for this for the dice kind of sucks. I've tried a couple different cameras for this, and it this is as good as I can get for the dice camera for now, until I can come up with something else. I don't remember what it was on Tinge, if that's what you're asking, but because I did that modifier, I get rid of this anyways. So I don't block anything, so I'm taking 3 damage, and I'm dealing 1 damage, which is terrible because now I'm dead. So he's taking 1 damage. I am now dead. But I never got to exchange. If it was a hollow black exclamation, you would potentially have to roll on the tinge chart. What the F is the tinge chart? I'm going to set this back where I was because I didn't get to do anything with it. I feel like I saw something about tinge in this book. Tinge effects. The unit is stressed. All units within 5 strides must pass a willpower tech test. Can't speak. Oh, okay. So this is what you're talking about. So there's a risk factor when at least 1 hollow exclamation point is rolled in the tinge roll. Your spellcaster unit must face the consequences. So it's like you're thrown in with the dark forces, the void. So you could say. Yeah, tinge, you hit more. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, now I'm up shit creek, that's for sure. Okay. Now it's my turn again. I'm gonna go with the Wise Mane, and I'm gonna swing. Yeah, for real. So we're going with him. We're just gonna attack here. I'm also gonna stress because I am stressed. My shitty little sorcerer just got taken out in an instant by a dude who literally just tried to run off the battlefield. So we're not feeling good. I just got killed by a coward. Or he juked me. I don't know. So that's going to give me a red dice and a solid exclamation point. So now I'm rolling 2 red, 2 orange, and a yellow. I got 1, 2, 3. And that was a hollow. And I don't have enough to do anything else. So I got 3, and the bucklermen have 2 green and a black. So that's 2 saves and 2 more saves, so that's 4 saves. Nothing happens. Again, these dang shield folk. So, no stress, no nothing. Didn't win a roll. Can't push anybody anywhere. We're just standing here holding hands. Unfortunate. I don't really need to heal anybody. I guess I'm just gonna dive into this combat with everybody else, I suppose, with Draco. His charge is 8. Which I am in range. I'm just gonna charge in. I'm just gonna move this guy and this guy just to show this a little bit more clearly. I'm gonna set this actually over here. We're just gonna charge in with Drago and swing on the Wise Mane. God bless, his melee attack is pretty good. And I'm going to stress again because it seems to be working out. Anyways. So everybody's stressed. And actually right now, just because this is so congested, I am going to move 2 of those stress tokens onto their cards, so it's a little easier to digest. So that's going to give me a solid and an exclamation point, and then I'm rolling 2 reds, 2 yellows, and a green. So that's 4 success and a block. 5 success. And enough to give the Wise Mane vulnerable. Which again, I don't know if it's accurate. I'm playing when the state is applied. It doesn't take effect on that exchange, but it will take effect on the next exchange. I don't know if that's correct, but that would make sense to me. Now he's vulnerable. The Wise Mane defends with 1 blue and 1 black. And he's taking 5 wounds. He only has 3 health. I don't even know if I can live through this. That is terrible. He's dead. Just a bunch of exclamation points. Oh no. Drago just pistol whipped the crap out of him. I'm just getting... This is just... Dang, I didn't expect Drago to be so good in melee. Oh. I've only got 2 people left. Alright, well, we're going into the last round of this turn. Or whatever that's worth. So I guess now he's free in a sense. Move this dude over here. No switches. No nothing for the Wise Mane on defense. He has not a single switch on defense. So, yeah, he just gets folded. Nothing. I could have stressed to gain a red dice, but considering he had a green defense dice built into his roll, I figured that wasn't really worthwhile. Maybe I get a wound through if I got the double hit roll, but which, given that he just folded, I guess I should have just stressed him anyway. It's just by chance. Okay, well, I guess the Bucklermen... Oh no, I just went. So now I gotta go with these guys. Ah, no. Oh man. Well, would the mage have been able to move as well, or is that only for melee combat? Like, since the Herald killed the mage, would he have been able to move after that? Or, I mean, it sounds like a melee-based mechanic, but... And is it a free whole move, or just the first portion, like a push or something? Cold coffee. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, well, I'm going to play this as a... You know, this room has already become far more complicated than I ever would have imagined, considering I didn't plan on streaming or doing anything down here. And now I've got cables ran all over the place because I've now set up this TV to be connected to the computer that's over here so I can look forward and see you guys and not have to be looking over here at it. So now that's all connected. I've had to run cables through the freaking ceiling, run all this stuff. There's mounts all over the ceiling now. It's become a big mess. I ain't fitting a microwave in here. I put it out there, but I don't have an extra microwave laying around. I'm going to play this like the push rules. And just do the first on his move value. So he just gets a little baby benefit. Which I guess he's just going to work his way toward meleeing these people to death. And what's sad is he didn't even need a charge reroll on that. I actually haven't really done a charge reroll yet. What's up, Kraut? Let's see, what's Drago defend with? 2 blues, and he just gets a guaranteed save. And he has 4 health. But he doesn't... Oh, he does have 1 conquer value. Shit. I think I'm going to charge... Again, I need to get these guys lowered. Although he's deadly, so I don't actually... Okay, we're charging Drago because they just killed their grandpa or their uncle or something. So we're just gonna charge right up in here. Orc Hunters. I get nothing for stressing, so I'm not gonna. I got 3 orange and a yellow. No. Okay, so that's 2 hits and a bunch of nonsense, so I'm gonna take my charge reroll because I must. I just had to say something. And like the same rolls, that's unfortunate. I got 2 hits and I can apply vulnerable. He is vulnerable. So I need to roll against 2. I don't know if that was what that was, but it's 2 hits. And he defends with 2 blues and a black. Hey, hold up. And he has no switches on defense, so he doesn't defend anything. So he at least takes 2 wounds. 2 wound. Okay. Which again, I'm going to put these guys over here because it's congested in there. But I'm going to leave that there because I will forget about it. So he takes 2 wounds, and he's vulnerable, and now he's extra stressed because he lost. And we're going to push this fool. Just going to back him up just to open him up to another charge. Because I'm not going to follow. It doesn't count. So he would have got like an extra little 3, an extra 3 move. So I guess technically I probably could have moved all the way in. Well, no, I think I probably still would have been a little shy of moving all the way into those orcs. So whatever, I'm taking it. They're obliterating me. I'm going to take what I can get. So you do get a full move. That's kind of wild. That's kind of cool though. It kind of adds to that like conquest feel of like you charge, you obliterate something, and then you keep progressing. That's kind of cool, especially once you get into like a bigger field with more terrain and stuff. Which I really want to like set up a board with proper terrain, but yeah, 3+, yeah. So that's all my stuff, and the Bucklerman still have to go, or the War Surgeon. I'm not going to go with the War Surgeon because reduce the target stress by 1. You know what? We're gonna yeah. We're gonna go with the War Surgeon, I think. He's got 2 wounds and he's stressed twice. We're gonna go with the War Surgeon because right now they're doing just fine. So we're gonna play it safe, even though I shouldn't. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, honestly, all the press stuff that they've done for this game and the demos and stuff, like I don't know, it's just been cool. I was excited to get it and get it all painted up, especially once like the orc models. I actually saw how Warcrafty they are because there aren't really any models like that. I love the orcs, so I'm really interested to see what else they do for like bigger stuff. And hell, I could play solo if I could do it in this setting, because at least there's some interest here. Which I also have Elder Scrolls Call to Arms, which I've done like solo stuff for. If y'all are interested in seeing any of the Elder Scrolls minis in a solo dungeon objective kind of scenario, that would be a little bit more interesting on stream than it is just playing it by myself. So if y'all want to see that, let me know. With the War Surgeon though, because I'm already in range, I'm gonna do their first aid skill, which is within 5 strides. Reduce by 1 the target's stress. So he's down to 1 stress, which will be 0 stress at the end of the round. And then roll a red and an orange. You may heal 1 from the target per each hit obtained. You may apply the switches. So if I get any exclamation points, I'll reduce their stress even further. So we got a red and an orange. So he's down to no stress and no wounds. So he is back all the way up to full because of the War Surgeon. So that first aid is pretty good. So going into the last round, I've lost because they've had control of this whole time. Even my, let's just say conquer value, I got 1, but they definitely had it for the first round at least, so they get a point. It's probably 2-0 already. And they're going to end up with that in the next turn, or the last round. I've lost, but we're going to play this out anyways, because why the hell not? So let's grab these activations. Where did I put his vulnerable token? Oh, it's right behind him. This stress. Nobody's stressed. Everybody's fine. They're probably definitely not stressed. Okay. So it's 2-0. Even if I somehow cross this whole board and stole that, well, I can't because I can't exchange it. I can't pick it up. So if I was really smart, I would just not touch that with the mage because they're going to win on points anyways. So I'm not gonna, because I will not be able to kill. I need to kill. Well, no, I'm not going to be able to kill enough stuff because I would need to clear out these guys, and then they're still 1-1 on conquest because Albork doesn't have. You think they would have given Albork, since he's like a named character, at least a conquest of 1? But like, the non-named and the named version both only have 0. It's kind of crazy. It sucks. Like I said, I hated painting the hegemony people just because of how tedious they were, but I really enjoyed painting this mage, which again, that's all on stream, if anybody cares, except for the tiny little smidge of airbrushing that I did, because I bought a new airbrush, so I just wanted to try it. But yeah, I really liked how that mage came out. He's probably one of my favorite models of this box set. I guess I just need to try to kill as much as I can, because I can't cover enough distance with my melee, and they're going to be going first. I can't cover enough distance to even get to that dude. So, best case, I could, because now Drago has vulnerable, maybe I could get in there and kill him at least. That would be something. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I guess that's the part of the stuff that I just ignored for this go around, because oh, scenario 3. Oh, is that what this is? Is that what this is? Because it doesn't mention it like anywhere in the like tokens or anything, and I was like, I don't know what this is. Hey, that's my goal. But they're going first. And because I'm an a-hole to myself, I'm going to go with Drago first before I get charged and charge the hunters, because that makes sense. So we're just going to charge back in there. So in this case, because I pushed him and didn't follow him up because I wanted to go to get a charge, and in that case, I would just hope that my opponent doesn't go with him first. But because I'm playing myself, I just messed myself up for no reason. Whatever. Okay. And he's going to stress because now he has no stress. And that gives me a solid and an exclamation point. Page 26, you say? I am curious. Oh, why didn't they just give him a card in the box? That would make way more sense. Why is there no card? They put it in the book? That's kind of stupid. I wonder what kind of base size he's supposed to have. So I've got a resin printer. I would much rather have like some ghouly flesh model or something for that than just having a token. I mean, I guess I could just get a base that's the size of this circle. That would make sense, huh? I might look into that, actually. Because I haven't really painted any fleshy stuff. Probably like the size of like a rat ogre or something. Yeah, Jesus, he just... Okay. So he's just invincible, huh? Okay. I might look into that. I would much rather have an actual representation of him. It's weird to me that they wouldn't have just printed him a card, though, but whatever. Talking about like a WARCROW Adventures or whatever. So, Drago's charging. He is stressing. That gives him a solid hit and exclamation. And then we're rolling 2 reds, 2 yellows, and a green. Hey, that's terrible for him, but because I pushed him away and just let him charge myself. Yeah, 2 hits. We're just gonna charge, re-roll. Okay, cool. Still only 2, but he's elite. Just kidding. Because the solids, or the hollows are solids. So he's got 4 hits, 5 hits, and a defense. And because of all these exclamation points, the hunters are now vulnerable. And they roll with a green and 2 blacks. Oh no! 3 hollows. And the only switches are for solids to add damage. So I fail all of my defense. So he does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to me. They have 2 apiece. So that is 1 dead orc, 2 dead orc, and a wound on a third. This has gone to shit so fast. Now I'm just thinking about a big fleshy beast that would be like stomping around. That's neat. I use hell, even this is kind of too small actually. 60 mil. I don't know, maybe that's about right. Is that right? That's very close. So yeah, he could have been a rat ogre, I guess. Not perfect, but well, it's my turn, thank God. I guess I'm gonna just swing on Drago at this point for everything I can get. The Orc Hunters, because I'm now 2-, attack with a red and 2 orange. Alright. We got 3. And because he's vulnerable, he gets... I guess he can't get vulnerable again. Even... whatever. Drago, 2 blues, and a black. And he has no switches, but he does get rid of 2. So he takes... oh, vulnerable, so we'll get rid of one of those. So he takes 2 damage, which means he would be dead if it weren't for that War Surgeon.
The race of men who above all else desire power.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Okay. So that is 1 and 1. Now it's their turn. So the wizard can't cast on anybody because everybody's engaged. So I'm not even going to bother with him. I think, out of spite, and they are in range, slightly, which I'm just gonna... I know line of sight with miniatures is a little bit silly, but again, just because I think it's funny, I'm gonna charge these hunters with the War Surgeon, because you know, it's kind of a case for it. And I'm gonna swing on them because they're vulnerable with 2 orange. Okay, we got 1 hit, and they're defending with a blue and a black. I think I'm gonna take my charge roll and try to get more than that. Ah, of course, that was solid. So we got 2 hits, blue and a black. Oh no. No. They failed both of them. Oh my goodness. So the vulnerable state doesn't matter, but that is another dead orc. And our valiant lead orc only has 1 health left. So I think, because I have absolutely lost this at this point, I'm gonna go here. So I'm gonna move these activation tokens just for the sake of some clarity because again it's so congested. That goes away. I'm going to disengage from the Bucklermen and try to charge Drago out of spite. I'm sorry if y'all can hear my stomach growling. I am so hungry. I ate before this, but this has gone much longer than I would have expected, but that's okay. So these guys are going to swing on me as I try to run away. They got a red and 3 orange. And they have 1 whole success, so that's great for me. We're rolling 2 blues and a black. We got it. Cool. So now I'm gonna charge Drago. Yeah, I can go through the objective. I just can't stand on it. Okay. So you have to be able to see the actual unit lead with like miniature line of sight to attack the unit. I guess that makes sense. So we've charged Drago and we're swinging on him because he's an a-hole. And we're stressing because why wouldn't we? I'm not even going to bother putting it down because nothing's coming of this at this point. We're just playing this out for the sake of it. Honestly, I should have just killed that war surgeon for coming in trying to swing on somebody. Okay, actually, I kind of like that. It's kind of annoying, like in Legion, units get tied up in melee, and you can't really do anything about it. It's a little bit easier now with the rules changed there, but... oh, and... a yellow. Not a yellow. I just get a guaranteed hit with this guy. Okay. So we got 5, and he's vulnerable, but I don't guess it really matters. And he defends with 2 blues and a black. That was solid. I saw it. So he's got 2 saves, no switches, so he takes 3 damage. He is dead. Oh, and he's vulnerable anyways already. So Drago, dead. And I think the Bucklermen can go, which they have to go around this many. They're going to have to assault, so they don't get a reroll. Red, 3 orange. So we got 3 hits there. And he takes 2 damage, which ain't enough to kill him. So that is basically it for that game. They absolutely won. I'm not even going to bother trying to tally up the score because the Bucklermen just absolutely messed me up completely. We're just going to set all these guys over here. That. So we had a tie in the first scenario, and then I got absolutely smashed in the following scenario. I am going to look into a model that I could print, because I do have a resin printer for the creature, because that is kind of a cool mechanic. I like having a neutral third party. It's interesting. Yeah, I think that'll definitely even out once you get like even the Beyond North box, I would assume. And like being able to put Wise Main in a unit to add a little bit of extra. So that probably won't be as big of an issue, but especially in the starter box, which I'm not going to get that box down. This is just the Winds from the North box. Everything that we're using in here comes from that. So if you're interested in anything that you've seen, for those of you who do not have it, this is WARCROW Winds from the North by Corvus Belli. I think the box is around 100 USD. So if you're interested. You can get that. I will probably do another one of these soon, because there is one more scenario in this book. But next will probably be Star Wars Legion. I'm not sure on that front. So I can't make any promises of when the next one of these is going to be, but there will be more, because this was fun, and I do enjoy the mechanics of this, as interesting and kind of confusing as they are now, but that's learning any game. So that is all good. But that's going to do it for today. All of you who sat through this whole 3-hour ordeal, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. If you did not already, please hit that like button. Please hit that sub button. It helps a ton. I am so close to 500 subs. Again, I appreciate y'all just being here, your time. It means a lot. So until next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Adios, guys.